Let me see.
Hello, shooters, loaders, and casters. Welcome to the Friday Night live stream. Hope everybody's had a good week. Hope we'll have some fun tonight. We have two new guests tonight that I don't think have been on here before. We've got AR Gun 1776, and we've got the always fabulous, the fastest typer on YouTube, Mr. Kingpin. Welcome in, guys. We're glad to have you. Um, Glad to have all you guys in the side chat. We got a couple of um, topic ideas that we'll be sharing as we go along. If you read the description, you probably already got a clue. So, Kyle, kick us off like you always do, brother.
Good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you're at. Once again, it's the end of a wonderful week, and it's been a long week, and I'm glad to see the end of it. I'm glad to spend time with all you sweet people. I'm a little under the weather with little back problems and some foot problems, but we'll make it. If we all hang in here together, we'll make it through just fine. AR, what you got, man?
Same thing, hanging here with back issues. Had hernia surgeries. I'm having it rough this week. Lost my voice too. So great time to be on here, but I thought, why not? So I thought I'd join you all. Good to be on here too. Thanks for the invite.
We're glad to have you, buddy.
Glad to be here.
Scotsman, how you doing, brother?
Not too bad. It's been a pretty decent week, I'd say. I got out with Daniel, did some shooting yesterday. That was a good day. Hot. It was almost 90 yesterday. So a little bit of sunburn, nothing too crazy, but us white Scotsmen, we burn like nothing else. So there you go.
Big E's riding my backside till I get that video done. Dang it, man! You're as bad as my old lady, boy. You don't cut no slack.
Big E needs a saddle.
Kingpin, how's it going, buddy? Hope you've had a good week.
Oh man, doing fantastic. Had a busy week, but that ain't gonna stop me. Had a great week, and being invited on this show is the cherry on top of the cherry on top of the cherry.
Well, dang, man, we're awful glad to have you, and awful pleased that you're here. Big Al earlier was writing the words to a theme song of a TV show he used to watch back when we were all kids. I'll say that
back then.
I'll say that about me and AR. I think it was probably before the rest of y'all was born. Yeah.
Hey, I'm sorry. I was not lucky enough to shake Jesus' hand like you were.
Yeah, I didn't even know they had televisions back then.
Cube.
Man, my picture just keeps getting darker and darker, doesn't it?
Dark.
I'm on hey Uncle Jim. Uncle Jim's out there. There's G23. We'll say hi to all y'all here in a minute. I got a new laptop, and this is the first time I've used it. So, and then look at AR's picture. I mean, crisp and clear as a bell. Like, yeah.
Took a while to get this though. Constant tweaking.
I know, man. I gotta adjust my settings, but it won't let me because, quote unquote, there's already an app using your camera. Close all applications, and then we can do this anyway.
Software.
Yeah, and it's brand new. They took it out of the box yesterday and put all the work stuff on it, and then said, "Here you go." And I hadn't had time to play with it, so I'm Probably going on a motorcycle ride tomorrow, so it'll be the first time in a while. So I'm looking kind of forward to that. So,
It's gonna be a beautiful day for it.
well, we had a fabulous spring this year, Kyle, as opposed to an AR. He's a Georgia boy too, in case y'all couldn't tell.
Great weather. Cool.
We've had a great spring, but the switch has flipped to summertime.
Yeah, we actually had a spring this year, which is the first time in a long time.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be bald here now. I'm just drinking.
AR, Uncle Jim had a question for you as far as what camera are you using?
922X by Logitech. About excuse me, about 60-something bucks at Sam's Club. They have different versions of that. I told y'all I was going to lose my voice. They have the 920, 922, then the X and all that. It's not bad for the money. I like it.
Wonder what kind this is I got over here. I'm going to use it next week. I got a Deso. Can y'all see that?
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
Yeah.
I think that's the problem. I think I'm too far away from it. Let me see if I can get it a little closer here. I don't know if that'll matter, but can't hurt at this point.
Yeah, these cameras were going for 100, 200 bucks at times. I went in Sam's here back during the COVID and they had them for 60-something bucks. And I said, I'll take it. And I walked out with it. And it turned out pretty good for the money.
Jamie, can I have just a second?
Absolutely.
I would like to say to my fellow brethren, thoughts of an old soldier. Congratulations, sir, on a beautiful grandson. We got a new soldier coming in.
Kingpin, I'll never know how you do that. So,
The fastest typer on YouTube.
absolutely. Yeah, it's we're looking at upper 90s by the end of next week.
Ooh.
And this morning when I got up to go to work, when I left after the house, it was 52 degrees.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was nice this morning. Sure was.
And probably it was upper 80s. I know that much. I won't say it hit 90 today, but yeah, it got warm.
I need to grow a beard.
I was looking at 80, 88, 89 on the way home, but that was going down the interstate. I think the actual air temperature was 87 or 86. It was warm, but at least the humidity's not here yet.
Right. Yet.
Now I know it's coming.
Mm-hmm.
Have you all started getting cicadas yet?
No, but my frogs are back.
I was going to throw my cowboy hat on. I said, no, I'm not going in there. First time with a gray felt hat.
Nah, you all right, brother?
I had a gray felt Eddie Brothers that I bought at bought it in Nashville.
Wow.
It got burned by. Let's just say I lost it in the divorce.
I lost everything in 2 divorces.
Yeah, that mutual. I wish I had everything that I used to have, but I wouldn't have room in the place that I live in now to put it, and that's bad because it's a 3-story house.
I have a habit of looking at the live comments. I've noticed, even apparently when I'm on here.
Senior Master Sergeant Bulldog, I got a movie for you if you haven't seen it. The title of it is Southern Comfort, and I watched it twice at work while I let it play. It ain't like I can sit there and watch a movie at work, but I had I had it playing, and I didn't get to pay close enough attention to it the first time, so I let it play through a second time. It's called Southern Comfort, and it's got Booth Powers. Is that his name, or is it Powers Booth? I can't remember.
Powers Booth.
And Keith Carradine.
He passed away recently. Powers Booth did. What,
Did he?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. He was a good actor.
Yeah, he was good. He was really good in this movie. So I recommend Southern Comfort if any of y'all.
An old soldier, AR. I'm outside of Athens, Georgia.
The classic city,
Sorry.
as they call it here
Yeah.
in the Peach State.
Home of the dogs.
Georgia here.
Yeah. Let me.
It's all right, Jamie. None of us have time to watch movies at work or make videos at work. You know, none of us have time for that.
I could make a video at work, but y'all wouldn't like it.
Yeah.
Show you a bunch of changing computer screens and me getting up and down all day.
I will try that. Y'all blowing me up. I can't keep up. I'll try to find one, Echo. I've got one a Deso, and it may be fine if I can't get this one adjusted out right. But see how it's changing exposure, the white bright level. So Uncle Jim, what you talking about? Who hung himself?
That was David Carradine.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't intentional. Or that's the story. He was trying to get erotic pleasures and accidentally strangled himself.
Crazy way to go. I think a rock star did that too of In Excess.
I think you're right. The name doesn't pop in right now, but
Michael something. I can't remember his name now.
Here's just a good question. Anybody want to take a shot at that one?
I'll go first.
okay.
Four snake beats both. I only have the 3-piece rods, and I barely ever use them because I'm an idiot and I don't really know how they work all that well. The problem I would see with a 1-piece rod is you got a 3-foot long piece of something to put somewhere without it getting bent or missing or destroyed. But I would recommend a bore snake.
Hold on.
I have a 1-piece one. I can't remember the name of that carbon fiber military supposedly uses with a rotating handle. I got one of those. I don't remember the name of it now.
It was on the tip of my tongue just a minute ago.
Mm-hmm. I don't like 3-piece personally.
I don't like them because unless you're using bore guides, there's multiple chances of the joints where they join together causing a scratch in your rifling or something like that. I don't really care for them. I use the Jamie, help me out. What's the cable?
Okay.
Kind of looks like a bike lock. It's got that nylon wrapped cable.
Yeah, Dewey's good.
Yeah, Dewey's is is the rod you. Thank you, Jamie. Yeah, Dewey's was the rod you were talking about.
Let me see if I can find mine.
This is about as good as they come right here. Let me get it out of here and I'll show you.
Otis. Thank you, Uncle Jim. I could not remember Otis. Those are great to take to the range because they fold up in a little pouch about this big, and you can put a couple of different caliber brushes and stuff in there and use the same cable. And if you need to clean something out, whoop, done deal. Won't scratch nothing.
The one that Willie gave me, it's like an instant pop out, a little telescopic thing. That sucker stays in my cleaning and it stays in my range bag. That's its home. That's where it lives. It's with me at the range every time I go. But look at this, Kingpin. Let me get this. All right. Here's the handle. You see it's got writing on it. Watch this. Ball bearings. Gotta love it, man.
Yeah. Tipton's a good rod. I mean, when I got Tipton, it does the same thing. It spins. So.
This is a J. Dewey. It's like Kingpin says, it's way too long. Let me see what it says on
So
there.
why do the handles spin like that? That to me that sounds like how you're supposed to turn it as it goes down through the barrel if the handle spins like that.
It uses the rifling to turn the brush as you go. That's why the handle spins. That way the brush can turn with the rifling.
Yep.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. All right.
And Uncle Jim, you ain't wrong. You need a rod if you're dealing with copper fouling and stuff like that, because sometimes you got to get down and dirty with it. But I would recommend, excuse me, I would recommend a one-piece rod if I was doing that kind of stuff over the three-piece kits. I mean, the one-piece rods are depending on the caliber because they are size per caliber, because bigger the caliber, the stronger the rod you're going to need. They're between like $25 and $45. That'd be a good window, I would say.
I think this one and this one's like 32 inches or something like that.
Yeah, mine's long like that, Jamie.
Ridiculously long. And it's I think it was $39 at Cabela's.
Yeah. But yeah, you can't go wrong with a one-piece rod. But like Kingpin said, the problem is storing them without them getting bent. It's like you got to have a whole new gun safe for your cleaning rods.
Do you guys think that the depth of cleaning is important for all shooters, or because everybody knows you guys are precision shooters, 1,000 yards, you're hunters and stuff like that. You make your own bullets, so you're looking for the tightest, best groups you can get, and every speck of dirt's going to change that. Where a guy like me is just going to go out to the range, plug away, wipe my gun down, and throw it back in the safe.
It depends on what you're doing. If you're going for long range, you have to build up a copper fouling equilibrium in your bore, which is you can start with a totally clean bore and start shooting, and you'll have groups this big. The more you shoot, that group will tighten up, and that's the copper fouling filling in the imperfections that just occur naturally in the barrel. And it'll shoot good for several hundred rounds, and then it'll start opening back up again. And when that happens, it's time to do some serious stuff, which is what Jim was talking about. You're going to plug the end of the barrel with grease. You're going to fill the barrel up with like Tink 69. No, that's deer stuff. No, it works both ways. It's not just deer attractant anymore. I think it's Tank 69. It's the copper solvent, and you'll let it soak for a while, and then it's time to start scrubbing and swabbing and scrubbing and swabbing and scrubbing and swabbing. But then again, now you're done back to a very clean bore, and you're going to have to build up that copper equilibrium again. So you're going to have to blow through some rounds to build it up. And that's if you're using jacketed bullets. If you're using cast bullets, the main thing you're looking for is just powder fouling and leading. And leading can be a booger to remove, like, oops, I should have used the gas check. Well, that gun's no longer usable because it's leaded the barrel.
Okay.
If you're shooting and you end up shooting a round that didn't have a gas check on it, then your next 5 rounds are in left field or something like that, you're done. You're going to have to clean that out. And that's going to take some work. And I recommend a solid rod for that.
What does that term leading mean? And obviously, you don't have to go into like a super deep, just leading for dummies. I don't want to. I don't want to hold up.
It's when the lead bullet going down the barrel starts melting and depositing itself in the grooves of your rifling.
So basically, it's filling the holes, and then you're not getting the proper rotation or spin as the bullet's going down the barrel.
That's the simple way. That's exactly what's going on.
At the range, I like Otis. Otis can fold up, put it on your belt.
Willie's right. It's Sweet 69, not Tank 69. Tank 69 is dope piss. Sweet 69 is copper and lead remover. Thanks, Willie. I appreciate that, sir.
Well, congratulations. GDW just got the Lee breech lock press. You'll love that, man. Miss Kitty wanted to know what kind of stuff that cleaning stuff do we carry to the range with us, and generally I'll take the I think Willie and I call it the pop out for cleaning rod, and a couple of brushes and stuff like that. But I don't do a lot of cleaning at the range unless I'm breaking in a new barrel, and then you do that. 1 shot clean, 2 shot clean, 2 shot clean, 5 shot clean, 5 shot clean, and then you're done. And then, or that's the way I do it. And I don't know that that's helping anything, but I believe it was 6-shooter Tex, and I'm not sure if he's even in here. Let me go back and see if I can find it. I don't want to.
I do it the same way, Jamie. 1 shot, 2 shot clean, 5 shot clean. It varies on a break in.
And when I'm shooting longer range or practicing at 300, 500, something like that, about every 10 shots, I'll use my Otis kit and run a swab through there just to get any powder out, because a swab's not going to. And I'm talking about, a paper patch. That's what I call a swab, but run a paper patch through it just to get any powder residue out of there, just to keep it a little cleaner. But it's not going to remove any copper or leading or anything like that, like a brush would. But I just run it through there 2 or 3 times until it's clean, and then go again, because I don't know, it makes it easier when you get home. And when I go out, the place that I go shooting the most, I'm out there for 3 days at a time, so there's a lot of rounds expended.
Do you like Otis, Kyle?
I do.
I do. Yeah.
Now, AR and Jamie, you guys were just talking about take a shot clean, take 2 shots clean. Is that for specific weapons, like your hunting weapons, or is that for every gun you buy?
Every rifle.
Every rifle.
Yeah, but you guys don't have you guys are kind of like purpose driven stuff, right? Like for me, I buy a gun because it's sitting there, and I just want to have it to look at it and hold on to it and love it and hug it forever. But you guys seem to purposefully buy stuff. Would that be accurate, or am I off on that?
I do.
Like you don't just go out and buy a rifle because you want a new rifle. You went out and bought a rifle for a specific purpose, right?
Right.
Even for hunting, I like to do that. Even for a 30-06, 270, it doesn't matter to me. I still would do that initially, but that's just me.
They've actually got break-in bullets that are like, The only way I know to describe it is like grinder wheel, like bench grinder wheel material, but there's different stages of it. It's to lap the barrel in to get rid of any rough. You can do it with regular rounds, but they have specific rounds that you can lap the barrel with as you shoot it. But you're going to need to clean it after every shot, and they do make a difference. I've done it on certain rifles. They're not that expensive, but they're more expensive. But you run like 2 courses through there, 5 mediums, and then 10 fines, and you're done. You're broke in. You're ready to go, and that's just on brand new rifles. Because I mean, you got to think about how they cut the rifling in those rifles. It's not a smooth process, so you got to smooth out the rough spots, and that'll do it. That they actually make sandpaper. I'll call them that, sandpaper bullets to run through there to smooth everything out. And then after about 10, 15 rounds, you're ready to go.
Did you get yours from David Tubb, Kyle?
Sir?
Did you get it from David Tubb? That shooter?
No, sir.
Okay. He sells them too.
I just bought the projectiles and from American Reloading and loaded them up with soft charges.
David Tubb is how many championships he's won. He sells that stuff, those bullets
Right.
like that. Different.
Yeah, I mean they're available.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Jason, I'm talking till a patch comes out clean, till a white patch comes out clean. And I'll use that JB bore paste too.
That's another way to do it, but now you're going to be working on a rod when you do that. I mean, you're going to have some sore arms.
If you want to go to the range and just clean and shoot quick, get the Otis, like Kyle said.
Yeah, I can run a patch. I can run 3 patches through mine in a minute, and you're back ready to go.
Yeah,
I got a bag up here.
just shoot 300 to 400 rounds, and you'll be good to go. Well, that's what I do with pistols, Willie.
yeah, that JB bore paste is good. I like that.
It's like valve lapping compound, but you're going to work for it.
Yeah, but one thing about those sandpaper bullets. Now, if it come from Tubb, I would trust it a little bit more, but I would want to see somebody else use it before I bought them and use it because, I just got this system that I think works for me. So that's what I'm going to do. To me, that kind of stuff would be a gimmick until I prove it to myself.
Well, I did that with my 270, Jamie. Because American Reloading had the projectiles, and it was an assortment. They had rough, medium, fine, ultra fine, and there was like, I don't know, 20 of each. And so, I mean, I had extras, but I loaded up some, and I ran 2 roughs, cleaned it, ran 5 mediums, cleaned it. I mean, I'm talking squeaky clean. And then I think 10 fines, and I was shooting one whole groups at 300 yards with it. So I was like, yeah, I think we're done here.
Yeah, the fine, medium, and all that. You're talking about the grit on the patch that you're putting down the barrel.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm sorry, when I said grinder wheel texture, I just meant a rough texture, and then I came up with the sandpaper version, and the rough is not that rough. The fine is like it's got the smoothness of a rough piece of a piece of marble that you dip in powder coat. It'd be about that gritty, and it's just super fine. And they work good. I mean, it saved me from blowing, like Willie said, 100 rounds, 150 rounds through it to break it in. I was done in 20 rounds and had a spotlessly clean barrel, and I ain't looked back.
They say it works. Everything feedback I've heard.
Now you can buy the loaded rounds like let's see, I don't think my local gun store sells them, but I think Cabela's does. They're gun cleaning rounds. It comes in a 20 pack, and you'll have depending on what company it is, 3 or 4 different types, and it'll be a 20 pack, and they're color coded, and you just run them down there. But you can buy them, but man, they expensive. But you know your bore's broke in when you get done shooting them. So
Someone was mentioning about the lapping. I have a Criterion barrel for AR-15. It's actually chrome lined and hand lapped. My first experience with it. I got to put it together and try it out.
probably with that JB paste.
Yeah, it's still greasy, messy. It needs to be blacked out.
It's a mess to use that stuff, but it works great. But you're gonna have some sore arms by the time you're good.
They're the only company I know of that, at least now, hand laps chrome line barrels.
Yeah.
Criterion. I think it's Criterion. Yeah.
Yeah, you pay for them.
Matter of fact, I think I used those sandpaper bullets in my Daniel Defense 223.
That's what I want. I want a Daniel Defense.
They're nice, but they're expensive.
So what about those shotgun shells that you see people talking about that they supposedly clean your bore when you shoot them out? Is that a thing, or is that just somebody ripping you off?
You talking about in a shotgun or?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
He's talking about clean shot, and they work to a certain degree, but they're not gonna do a very detailed job. It's meant just
as a shotgun goes, you're not going to beat a brush in a swab. So
it's meant to get you done to get you home so you can clean it. That's all it's meant for. It's not meant for a detailed cleaning job.
And Kingpin, save all of your old T-shirts if you shoot a lot of shotgun, because they make the best swabs.
Yeah, I got one of those big reusable grocery bags full of old T-shirts that I clean my guns with.
Yeah, the problem with the Sweet 7.62 is you got to get all of it out of that barrel. You're going to end up using a lot of gun oil or frog lube or something like that. I would actually run some solvent through there after you clean that solvent out. I'd run some hoppies or something like that through there to help flush all that out, but it better be some clean patches because that stuff will eat away at your bore. I mean, you're going to be sitting there with a bolt action rifle. If you use that Sweets, you're going to be sitting there for an hour running patches through it after you let it soak. I mean, you got to get that thing clean as clean can be. But it works fantastic.
I've heard that before. But anyway, one of the guys earlier, and if you wrote this comment, I can't remember. I'm sorry. I can't remember exactly who said it. I want to say 7.62 or 6-shooter Texan, but I don't see 6-shooter Texan out there. One of the guys said that with shooting lead powder coated bullets, it's cut his clean into almost nothing. And one of the guys said they don't clean their barrels that much anymore. Well, when you've got the barrel shooting good and you've got that layer of copper in all of those little nooks and crannies all the way down the barrel, and you got it smooth and less resistant to making it go offline or anything like that. When you use that kind of stuff to get it all the way back down to the steel, well, you got to start all over, like Kyle says. And you're looking at it can copper foul back up uh, in 3 or 4 or 5 shots, or it could take 20 to 30 to 50, or you just don't ever know.
Usually it takes me with my 308, it takes me between 75 and 100 rounds to get the groups back tight again, but then they stay tight for another 250 rounds and then they start opening back up. It's just the way it is.
And then it'll go too far the other way, and you'll start seeing your accuracy fall off, and that's when you need to give it a good scrub.
Yep.
So if the copper, as the bullet is getting ripped apart going down the barrel, and you're saying it's filling like the microscopic imperfections in the barrel, don't you have to be concerned about it filling the lands and grooves in the rifling too?
Well, that's what it's doing. It's filling up the bad spots where gases may pass by. Like there's one little deep part in the groove, which will let the gas pass by. As the bullet goes through there, that copper will fill that microscopic groove. And what you need to do is because if you ever take a microscope down a gun barrel, I don't care who makes it, it is not smooth at all. I mean, aside from the rifling, it is not a smooth surface. And every time you shoot, you're filling in microscopic pits down the bore. And once all those pits get filled in, now you've got the accuracy of the barrel. The problem is you're still building up, whether it be copper, powder, lead, whatever, powder coat. You're still building all that up because it doesn't stop building up. But you've reached the tolerance zone where you've got the most accuracy out of that barrel, and it'll stay there for a while because it'll blow some of the powder out. It'll blow some of the copper out every time you pull the trigger. What'll happen is as you keep shooting, it'll start building it up in odd places like hot spots in the barrel, and it'll grab your bullet and make it all wompy jawed when it comes out. And when it starts doing that is when you'll see that pattern open back up again. And that's when you know you need to do a thorough deep cleaning, but then you got to shoot another 20 to 50 to 100 shots through it until it tightens back up. It's like a sourdough bread. You got to play with it. Does that make sense?
Yep.
You learn your gun, you learn your rifle. Jason's got a good question. So, would a chrome lined barrel use the same break-in process? Not to that extent, but yeah. The chrome going down through there is going to fill in a lot of that stuff and make it a whole lot smoother, whole lot harder, make it a whole lot more durable. Chrome lined barrel will last a whole lot longer than just a regular steel barrel, in my opinion.
And you'll also notice your shot group close in a lot quicker in a chrome lined barrel because all you're fixing is you're not fixing a jillion microscopic problems. You're fixing like 3. So as soon as those 3 get fixed and you get good gas seal and all that stuff, and you get good obturation on the bullet and the proper spin, because a lot of times on a brand new barrel, you're not getting proper spin the first couple of times you shoot it because you haven't filled that stuff in. Some of the grooves will have microscopic imperfections in it, and it won't grab the bullet like it's supposed to. I mean, let's think about it. We're talking about mass-produced barrels, done by a human. Sometimes they're done by a machine, but there's a human running the machine, and anything done by a human can and will fail. So they're not perfect out of the box. I don't care what you pay for it. It ain't perfect out of the box.
Depending on the manufacturer, their tooling will be more rough and cheaper barrels versus high-end barrels sometimes.
Right. I've never seen a barrel manufacturer use Smurfs with chisels in there cutting the rifling. So,
Well, if they're forging the barrels, the temperature on the inside's different than the temperature on the outside. The cooling time is drastically different.
Exactly. That's where your little microscopic ridges and cracks and all that stuff come in. What you're doing with the sandpaper bullets is you're getting rid of the microscopic ridges where they cut the rifling. And what you're doing with the multiple shots is filling in all the microscopic pits that are in the grooves. And that's what they call copper equilibrium, where everything's back the way it's supposed to be. And it'll shoot great for a long time. I've gone 800 to 1,500 rounds out of my 308 before my group started going weird. And 1,000 rounds out of a 308, that's a lot of shooting.
Yep. That's
And
huge.
every now and then run a patch through it with a little frog lube on it just to soften everything up. Then wait 5 minutes, run another one through there to get the gunk out of it, which is nothing but powder fouling, which did not do anything to the copper fouling because frog lube will not remove copper fouling. Just to get it clean and then keep on going. It's clean enough.
Listen to Rigby going ape in there.
I hear.
Yeah, she's having fun. Okay. Good conversation, guys. Good stuff right there. So yeah, some of us don't use copper at all. Probably for I'm moving more into the cast lead for hunting, especially with my 35 Remington. 270 is probably going to stay copper. Probably use store bought bullets in that and the 6.5 Creedmoor, but 30-30, 30-06, we'll mix it up a little bit. 30-30, 270, well, 30-30, 35, all that kind of stuff that's just, and my mill serps, all those are just, that's heaven for a copper, for a cast lead bullet.
Somebody was saying earlier about I had a bolt gun with Criterion barrels. It was very accurate.
Big E, I think.
Yeah.
So how did you guys learn all this stuff? Obviously, it wasn't the internet, because the internet is a certain amount of age old, and you guys have clearly more experience than the short time the internet's been around. Was it reading books? Was it just figuring it out? Was it just talking to guys that did it before you? Or was it a combination of everything? Or was it a lot of the internet? Like, how did you learn so much about this stuff?
Prehistoric internet, and we used to have magazines. We could go to the store and buy magazines about whatever particular topic that we were interested in learning more about. And I bought a lot of magazines when I was a teenager and in my early 20s. And then my kids came along, and all the guns kind of got put to the back of the closet. And,
I learned a lot about bolt guns and bolt gun maintenance and ballistics and how a rifle does what a rifle does and why it's doing what it's doing in the military.
I did magazines like Jamie, especially in the 80s. I read 70s and 80s by magazines, constantly reading.
I mean, I've been around guns since I was 10 years old. My dad bought me a 20 gauge shotgun on my 10th birthday, and we'd go out dove hunting and squirrel hunting and all that. Then I finally got my lever action 35, which I still have. I got it when I was 12. That was the deer rifle for the time period. Then I started playing with bolt guns and all that stuff. Then I went in the military and learned a lot. I've forgotten a lot, but I retained quite a bit of it. I mean, hell, that was 25 years ago. but they drill it into you so hard you retain most of it.
My uncle stuck a 22 Speedmaster when I was 10 years old and says, "Go shoot." I said, "Thank you." And I went out in the woods. It's actually in Cobb County. I used to set and target shoot.
Oh, don't do that now.
A few hundred feet from the fire station, and Cobb County police would sit there and watch me shoot that rifle in my yard. So
Well, that was pre-laws now, because you're not allowed to have anything that fires a projectile.
yeah,
Not even an addle.
I sat there and just shoot for 30 minutes, and they would sit there and watch me. They never said a word. But that was the 1960s.
Yeah, that I was about to say that was back in the day. So
Yeah, I started doing this kind of stuff when I was. I'd always wanted to, but when I got 10 years old, I was like, "Hey, man, I hit double digits. It's time." So my uncle took me out hunting for the first time that year, and he let me hunt with one of his guns, and it was a Stevens over under combo gun. It was a 22 long rifle on the top barrel and a 410 shotgun on the bottom.
I always wanted a 22 410.
And I've always wanted to find me one of them. And I found one at a gun show, and they wanted $550 for it.
Good Lord, it was a $75 gun when they bought it.
Right.
I had a friend in school that actually made a copper pipe handgun and carved it out in wood, and it blew up and almost took his hand off. Homemade handgun, if you want to call it that.
Was it black powder?
No, he actually took kitchen matches and trimmed it off, packed it down a copper pipe, put
oh, good Lord.
Yeah, and boom, boy, it exploded. He didn't get injured though. He could have.
Well, that's wonderful. Did have y'all seen that video where they took, I think it was 10,000 sparklers and banded them all together and put them in a porta potty? That was bad. That was bad.
I miss the M80s from the 1960s.
Oh, yeah. I used to have a couple of them, but through the years, we've had a couple of 4th of Julys. So,
see, back when I was a kid, my Uncle Jim, and I really had an Uncle Jim. He was MCK, don't work too hard, buddy. Hurry back when you can. He had a pair of Smith & Wesson 38 revolvers. Both of them were nickel plated, because back then you didn't have stainless steel like you do now. But they were beautiful, and that has led me down a long and winding road. Those old Smith & Wesson revolvers, and going out and killing rabbits and squirrels to eat, and eventually it got me into deer hunting. And I remember my first little single shot 22 rifle. Back then you could walk around and find Coke bottles and gather up enough in the morning that you could go get a Coke, a candy bar, and a box of 22 long rifles at any little neighborhood store, and go shoot half the day. And then you'd get down to where you had 10 cartridges left, and you'd start guarding them. You'd keep them handy. Well, my neighbor lady that babysat us when we were kids, she said, "I want some squirrel dumplings, Jamie." I'm like, "Well, I'll be back in about an hour or two." And I'd take 5 22 shells out and come back with 2 squirrels and 3 shells.
I used to shoot a lot of squirrels when I was younger.
Yeah, my dad would let me take my grandfather's Belgian Browning 22. He actually bought it in Belgium at the end of World War II. He'd let me take it out and go squirrel hunting with it. Jamie, I think you played with it. that was a squirrel killing machine right there. I still had my 20 gauge and my 35, and then I just started expanding it from then. But yeah, a lot of good times, and I started young and loved it. Oh, let me make an announcement. My son, my oldest son, he's in college now, uh, getting his degree. When he gets out of his uh, when he gets his degree, he's already got a job lined up. He's going to do all the online sales and transfers and all the advertising for a local gun store. We went to lunch. He wanted to go to lunch last Sunday. So we went to lunch, and he actually looked at me and said, "Dad, I appreciate you taking me shooting. You taught me a lot. So I know quite a bit about guns, and I feel like that's made me a lot more capable of doing my IT job for the gun store." I was like, well, "That's pretty cool."
That's an awesome story, man. That's
Good story.
excellent.
Absolutely.
He's really looking forward to it, and I thought we were just having fun. I was actually teaching him something. Look at that.
Yeah, Ed Harris is 762. Ed Harris is the one that came up with Ed's Red. Elmer Keith is one of
And
my.
let me tell you, that's some good stuff. I'm still doing torture tests on 2 different ARs, one with Frog Lube and one with Edge Red. And I've got probably 1,500 rounds through each of them and hadn't cleaned anything. I'm waiting on one of them to malfunction. Then I'm going to tear them both apart and compare them. But they hadn't malfunctioned yet.
All right. We've been talking about these cool old magazines that we used to read when we were kids. All right. How many of you guys still get American Rifleman from the NRA? And if you do, what's your thoughts about it? And then there's a subject I want to get to that's reloaded. Scotsman, you want to talk about that particular topic?
Sorry, say that one more time.
I said there's one topic we wanted to get to tonight that's pure reloading. Did you want to talk about? You want to introduce that, or you want to start that up?
You are breaking up, man, because you are facing the other way.
Okay.
One more time for the people in the back.
Yeah.
My brother gives me those magazines. He gets them constantly. He's a lifetime member. Right.
They're nothing but an advertising rag.
I got a huge stack back there.
Yeah, I don't even read them anymore. I'm gonna tell them just to quit sending it to me. So, Scotsman and I were talking on the phone earlier today, and there's a guy on YouTube now, and his name is Dummy Round, and we got talking about it, and thought maybe we might need to talk about the importance of why we make dummy rounds.
Okay, now I got you. So one of the things this past week, for those of you that followed Daniel, I went and shot with Daniel yesterday. Well, Daniel was having some issues with 45, and I'm not picking on Daniel. Yeah, I am, but we all pick on each other. But we all have issues here and there. But the one thing he didn't do before he started loading was set up a dummy round. And I always, no matter what, even if I've done the round 100,000 times, I'm still gonna do a dummy round and prep that, set it, so I know that it's gonna work no matter what. And I think it's just one of the key things that a lot of us kind of get complacent with, where we don't and start going on to other things. I'm not saying Daniel's complacent, but he's probably complacent.
I like dummy rounds. It's good to have set up.
I have this. That's Lyman handgun cartridge checker. And then I also have one in 6.5 Creedmoor and 223. The
Nice.
rest of, go ahead. I'm sorry, Al.
No, I said nice.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, you're
Here's, you make up your dummy round like this. Seat your bullet. Don't put a primer in it. So you want to do everything to this that you would do to a loaded cartridge. Size it, seat the bullet, crimp it, and then drop it in there, and then let it fall out. So if it drops right in and then drops right back out, that's a great start. Next thing you need to do is pull the barrel out of your pistol, if you're talking about pistol rounds here, and do the plink test with your barrel. That barrel is the only true cartridge checker that you own.
agreed.
I think K24 says it best. He's got a library of dummies, but he still runs one anyway. That's exactly it. Always run one no matter what.
9mm plump test for EGW.
Now, are you saying you keep saying run one? Now, do you mean put it in the magazine, chamber it?
Yeah,
And-
you're gonna put it in the chamber. You're gonna put it in the magazine. You're gonna chamber it. Make sure it cycles. Make sure it jacks. All of that. The big thing is, especially with guns that have a tighter chamber, you got to make sure it's gonna feed properly. And depending on what the gun may be, I may do 2 or 3 of them, stack them in the magazine, and cycle it, and make sure they all go in properly and all eject properly.
And another thing for y'all reloaders out there, if you're running a, like say a 4-hole turret press or something like that, if you've got a dummy round already made up, but you only have one turret and you just got done loading 38 special or whatever, and you want to start doing 45, it's real easy to set up the dies if you got a dummy round sitting there, as long as you're using the same bullet.
Well, that's kind of what I'm getting at. So if I got this dummy round right here, but I decide that instead of this truncated cone, I want to do the rounded bullet. But I got this. I don't need another dummy round, do I?
You need one for every bullet shape that you're going to use if you're going to set up your press on it.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Different bullet profiles.
And
But
that,
yeah, you can change over even with a single stage press. It makes it so much easier to set your dies up. You don't have to do all the measuring and this and that. And you can just put it in there and set this die. We know what to set one die to. Just run it all the way down till it touches. Then your bullet seating die, you just put your dummy round in there, set it back your stem off a little bit, run the base down till it touches the shell, and then tighten it down to where it is. And then your crimping thing, just run it down to where it is. And I mean, you're done. You can, on a single stage press, you can have all your dies set up in maybe 4 minutes.
Mm-hmm. It's a good thing for even noobs to use, actually. Dummy rounds would be a lot faster.
Mm-hmm. Everybody knows what a pain in the neck it is to get you a new turret for your turret press or whatever, or a new set of dies. And then now you got to set everything up, and you'll be there for 30 minutes. If you got a dummy round, you can do it in under 4.
yeah. Yeah, but my point is every rifle, every handgun, every barrel, okay, every gun barrel is different.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it's the same model from the same manufacturer, made on the exact same day, that barrel has got something different from the one that came off the assembly line right before us.
That's true.
And the amount of bullet that's down in that case and the amount of that bullet that's sticking up out of that case changes a lot of things. Number
Yeah.
one, it changes your pressure, and it changes where and if that bullet is making contact with the lands and grooves in that barrel.
It's
So
really important.
you need to make your pressure is going to change. Now let's say I got a gun and I've taken the barrel out. I'm doing my dummy round, and I get the dummy round to fit to where it's clinking in and it's falling out. That's right where we want it, right? But then when I measure it and say I got exact data for this particular bullet, well, my dummy round is shorter or my dummy round is longer. If that dummy round is shorter, then that pressure on that particular round is going to be higher. You're going to have to back your powder charge off a little bit. So that's another reason we make dummy rounds is to help us make informed decisions about the powder charge that we're about to load up into these rounds that we're going to be shooting either at the end of our arm or beside our face, depending on if it's a pistol or rifle.
And public service announcement, always use published data.
Dummy rounds are also good with micro dies because micro dies turn like 50, I forget the number, but different models. So I use them on there because it's just a lot faster.
Yeah.
You get to the zero or whatever you want to get to really quick with a dummy round, with a micro die anyway.
Yeah, there's two main reasons that I use dummy rounds. One is for die setup or to verify die setup, because I've got dedicated turrets for different dedicated turrets or tool heads, depending on what caliber I'm loading and which press for each different caliber, and some of them for each different bullet. They're good for that, and they're also the best case gauge that you can ever use. I mean, if it works in the barrel, it's going to work when you go to use it. So
These can be tuned quick with a dummy round.
it's just a time saver. Go ahead and take the time, make your dummy round, and if you got 3 different 9mm bullets, you need 3 different dummy rounds. Make sure they work, and it'll help you set if you're using one tool head for 3 different bullets on one caliber. It makes it real quick to change the die settings. My frogs are back.
But what if you've got 3 different bullets, but you also have 3 different pistols?
So hang on, let's Kingpin, have you got any questions regarding this? Because you're someone who's kind of getting into this, thinking about getting into this. Do you have any questions about what we're talking about right now?
I think he had to go potty, but I'm not sure. Yeah, he left a comment in the private chat, Scotsman. I'm sorry.
But yeah, guys, if anybody out there has any questions, feel more than free to ask. We may not be able to answer the question, but we can sit here and have some thought vomit for a couple of minutes.
So I did have one question up there. James was asking if I finished the AR for Bill Melton. I'm just waiting on the barrel. That's all I'm waiting on, guys. So once I get the barrel, then I can put it together, and I'll show you guys what it looks like. So that's all I'm waiting on.
That's awesome.
I can't imagine you've gotten everything that you've gotten already with the way shipping is around the country right now.
I got
I'll tell you, shipping has improved a lot, a heck of a lot. I've had like Tax sent me a package. Sorry, excuse me. I don't know if you guys saw, but Tax sent me a package. I literally had it in 2 days. The USPS is getting a lot freaking faster. I don't know. In the last couple of weeks, it's gotten a lot faster. Their tracking still sucks, but they've gotten a lot faster.
I got barrels even months ago, even during the COVID.
The one I sent Willie had that in less than 2 days too. Yeah, they're speeding up, but yeah, the only thing I need is the barrel. As far as the trigger in that is a James Madison Tactical Black Ops straight trigger. Which, if you guys have never shot the James Madison Tactical trigger, it is a badass trigger.
Paul got to my point right there. You have 3 different pistols, 9mm.
Mm-hmm.
One of them's a CZ. Load for the CZ. It has the tightest chamber. I guarantee you it does.
Yeah, find the one that's the hardest to load for and go with that. It'll feed in pretty much everything else.
Yep.
Don't take that as published knowledge, because it's not. But it's a good recommendation. Oh, y'all heard the frogs? Yes, they're back.
We've been listening to them.
All right, so I don't know, Kingpin, are you back?
Yes, sir.
All right. So we were talking about all this stuff. I just wondering if you had any other questions regarding it, since you're kind of someone who's thinking about getting into this. Did you have any other questions for us regarding the topic?
I pretty much got my question in right at the very beginning with the term "run" meant, meaning you load it through the magazine, make sure it fills all the magazine up, make sure it chambers and cycles through the gun. You don't gotta bother like actually dry firing, do you?
No, you don't have to. I mean, you're not putting a primer in it or nothing like that. So there's no necessary need for dry firing. It's not going to do anything.
Yeah, and sometimes dry firing without a primer in there, or at least a spent primer, sometimes that can damage some actions. So
Yeah, that's kind of why I was asking, because I've heard with nothing for that to like you said dampen what's going on there. It's usually not good.
It depends on the pistol or the revolver, whatever it may be. It's going to really depend on it. Most revolvers you can dry fire, no issues. And you'll have a lot of people that will argue that point, but I'll tell you right now, most revolvers, if they are built correctly, you can dry fire them and you will be okay. Now, don't go stupid nuts with it and slap the trigger 1,000 times. That's not the proper way to do it. If you take your time and dry fire properly, yes, it can be dry fire. Your semi-auto is going to vary depending on what kind of firing pin, how the firing pin's set up. Like CZs, some of the CZs are pinned in there. So that's all going to make a difference, because that is not the strongest system when it comes to a firing pin. So you do it a lot, you can break some stuff. So it just varies on the gun.
So let's talk about this question right here for hobbies hobo for a second. Let me show you. Let me show you this little bullet right here. And I think this might help you. Now, one of my buddies sent me this little bullet right here. It's a 308. It's 110 grain, and it's a gas check design. And this is what it looks like with the gas check on it. And that's a cast bullet, powder coated with Eastwood copper penny, and that's got the gas check. The other one don't. They shoot pretty good in 30-30 at low velocities, hobo. So if you can find that little mold, And you saw it; it was a flat point.
Yeah, he was just. I think he's got a bag of like 32 auto bullets, or a box of 32 auto bullets laying around that he's not using, and just won't know if he could load them backwards. I don't know if you'd get any accuracy out of it, but you'd be a nice little thumper for the backyard, I would think. But good luck on finding load data for it.
One thing I don't understand real quick, and I know you guys have covered this a few different times, but like that projectile you just held up there, Jamie, had all those ridges on it. And if you're looking for a tight seal so that you can get as much pressure behind the projectile and the casing as you can to send it down the barrel with as much velocity as possible, wouldn't those ridges just be adding to the potential for things to go wrong and gas to get past?
Would you like for me to explain to you what all these grooves are?
I mean, yeah, I would love it. Like I said, I know that you guys have covered it before, but it's still, it doesn't make any sense. So if you want to go over that, then I would definitely not discourage that.
Well, the key to what you're talking about is bullet obturation, where it puffs up like a marshmallow with the pressure from the gases. Okay? So when we're looking at this bullet, if I can get it to be still, okay? Right here, this first wide groove, right there, that's called your driving band. This next groove right here is your crimp groove. And this is a barren surface, and then you got your gas groove, and then you got another barren surface, and then you've got the step cut down for your gas jet. Okay, so these bullets that we're making with these molds that we're getting are traditional bullets for traditional lube, to fill those lube grooves up full of grease. Well, it seems to me that nowadays with powder coating, if we have a smooth-sided bullet, would be more efficient, I think. And there's folks that argue me down about that disagree. But when you buy well, here's a box right here. Let's just take a look at one of these copper jacketed store-bought bullets. And this is a honker right here. You see, that bullet right there is smooth. There's no lube grooves in it. Now, is copper slicker than lead? I don't know. I couldn't tell. I don't know the answer to that. But you see, the only groove this bullet has in it is the cantilord.
So, Kingpin, if you're not familiar with what Jamie's talking about as far as like traditional lube, think about like red grease. The red grease you get in the can, and you stick it inside one of the grease guns, kind of like that.
All right, yeah, okay. I kind of, like I said, from you guys talking about it before, I get a little bit of the idea of all the grooves and the grease and like I'm familiar with you guys talking about that, but the science behind, like Jamie just showed a factory bullet that's completely smooth, but it's also got a copper jacket on it. So, and it's probably a whole lot easier for a company to have 10 million rounds coming out smooth than have to build a machine to make all those grooves in it and still make 10 million rounds.
Yeah, absolutely. And the copper jacket is definitely going to be a lot easier versus doing lead or anything like that. But those grooves are important, especially for lead if you're going to do it traditional. But like Jamie said, now we have powder coat and high-tech coatings and stuff like that, and it makes a big difference. And so the grooves are still there, but they're not always necessary.
All right. Well, you brought me to my next point by talking about powder coating. Aside from price, because I know copper is expensive. Why don't you guys copper jacket your? Why don't you guys dip your homemade rounds in copper?
Okay, so I'm gonna say number one, that's an excellent question. I'm gonna say number two, um, I don't think any one of us has the time nor the skill set to do so. And maybe someone out there does, but I have no idea how to copper jacket a bullet. None.
Well, and
Okay.
I'm just thinking here's where I'm coming from because I'm sitting here just imagining if you're smelting lead, which I know melts a lot lower than copper, you could just turn up the heat and smelt some copper and then dip your bullet in there and dry it off like you normally would. That's the way I'm looking at it.
Yeah, and you technically probably could. I've never tried it. I don't know anyone who has, but yeah, it'd be an option. But powder coat is super easy. It's not expensive, and it's widely available. Widely available.
It is. Um, Now we could do. Any of us could do plating, copper plating, with a few chemicals, a tub, and a car battery. You, uh, you could do the plating thing. It'd be a long, slow go, but that can be done fairly easily at home. But for a true copper jacket, you're talking about forming a jacket and swaging lead into the middle of it. Yeah, that takes more equipment than what we got, and
A lot of machines.
a lot of fast moving, high priced machines.
Mhm.
Uh, you guys are asking about my flag. This flag belonged to a good buddy of mine. Y'all may have seen him on a video or two of mine way back when I first started. His name's Frog. Well, his name is David Hoffroggy, and he was originally from Illinois. And he moved down here and he went to church with me. We were in CMA together. We rode motorcycles together, and he passed away back in October. And I was very fortunate that the family saw fit to give me that flag, which I have put up to honor him.
Nice.
Very nice, brother. Very nice. Kingpin, you were gonna say something. I saw you were gonna say something, buddy. What you got?
There was somebody, the sergeant Bulldog said you got they and Bald said something too. I think Jamie covered it too. That the copper jacket is what they begin with, and then they put the lead inside it afterward. I was just thinking that they threw a bunch of lead together and basically glazed the top of the lead like you would a bunch of donuts going to a factory or something.
Yeah, it's a whole process, man. You can look it up on here too, and you'll be able to find videos of some companies show the process. There's not a whole lot, but you'll be able to find some videos of it. It's an extensive process, and for someone to do it at home, it's going to take a lot of time and a lot of effort and a lot of money. Um, Powder coating is super easy and super cheap.
So it's
Yeah.
it's pretty industrious taking on. It's not as simple as just smelting some copper and dipping your bullet.
No. There's a lot more to it. Yep.
A lot more machinery.
Yeah. I mean, you think about just an example. Some people say, all right, you guys have like a Dillon 650, whatever. You can start your own ammo company and do this, whatever. There's a lot more to it. You go look at Squad Tree Loading, for example, who has done this. He's got like 6 or 7 different Dillons now. He's got a lot going. There's a lot of money put into this to make it work. It's not as simple as, okay, I got one progressive press. I'm going to rock them out all day long and do this, that, the other. You have to have a lot of equipment and a lot of time and a lot of money invested to make it actually work.
You're talking millions. That's quantity.
Yeah, I'm sorry about the dog, guys. I was on my way to mute it when Jamie did it. Found a little critter.
Yeah. We're all dog lovers here. I guess y'all can tell.
Once I actually looked to see what it was, it ain't hurt nothing. It just happened to be in the way of where she was wanting to go. It's just a little rat snake.
Yeah, but that would be a brass jacket, not a copper jacket. And these guys are full of great information.
Yeah, anybody new to this chat, feel free to contact anybody in the side chat. And there's a lot of info out there. Most of these guys have forgotten more about reloading and stuff like this than the guys on the panel know. So
Well, that's one thing I never thought of before. When I got into hanging out on gun channels and stuff like that and learning from you guys and talking to you guys, it's amazing how much stuff you guys know about so much different stuff. It blows me away listening to some of these conversations sometimes.
well, in the middle of the bark fest out there, I heard you say, just smelt down a little copper, dip your bullet in there, and dry it off. Yeah, it's not that simple.
Yeah, one of the guys told us why.
Yeah, okay. All right. I'm trying to get caught up in the side chat. I'm sorry.
Copper melts at like 2,000 degrees. Lead melts at 700 degrees. Oh, here it is right here. 1984. That was a good year, Fishner. So, yeah, your lead would never make it through the copper dip.
Yeah, never happened.
That's another thing that I was thinking about is as hot as you'd have to get the copper. As soon as you threw the lead in there, the lead would melt.
Right.
Yeah, instantly. So, Hobo, this is what I've been preaching for 3 years. And you know who's going to have to do it? We are.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody else going to be able to do it.
And they're actually starting to come out with slick-sided molds. NOE and Arsenal.
M&P.
Yeah, M&P. But all the big boys are starting to come out with slick-sided mold because they figured out that we don't need those loop grooves if we're using, powder coat. And Kingpin, I could show you some. Should I show them some bullet lube? I got some right here oozing out of my lubicizer from where I changed calibers over. It's like a mixture of Vaseline and grease. It's a little thicker than grease. It's like you mix Vaseline, grease, and wax and melt it all together. That would be a good.
Yeah. The NRA had a bullet lube, homemade bullet lube. It seems like it was beeswax and Johnson paste wax. I can't remember. But that was like 3 ingredients.
That's the 45-45-10.
So you take this bullet lube and put it on with your fingers after you've done your powder coating before you set it and crimp it and all that kind of stuff. Like I don't.
You don't need the bullet lube if you're powder coating. Let me turn my camera back on here. All right. Of course you can't see me. All right. Now, bullet lube. See how there's lube in the 2 grooves, and then I still have 1 groove left.
Yes.
That's going to be the crimp groove, okay? Those two lube grooves, are for to lubricate the bullet as it goes. Okay, there.
Sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. But I still have one groove left, right? Right here. Well, right there. You got two lube grooves and a crimp groove. If you powder coat it, you don't need to put bullet lube on it. The way this is put on is through an old fashioned, thank you, Willie Bullet Man, what they call a lubricizer. And it sizes the bullet at the same time. And you turn a knob and it squirts the lube into it. And then when you lift the lever, you have a perfectly sized lube bullet that looks exactly like that. And the only reason that I'm doing this is because I wanted to traditionally lube some bullets just to see if they shot different. You don't have to do that if you're powder coating. There's no lube at all involved if you're powder coating. The powder coat acts as a jacket for your bullet.
So would you be wrong if you lubed a powder coated bullet just to have extra protection?
Well, I mean, you can, but there's no need in it whatsoever at all. But if it makes you feel froggy, do it.
That basically all that would be was just be feeding your own ego because it's doing absolutely nothing.
Exactly.
Well, I've seen people do it, and they have a reason. I mean, they've justified it in their own mind somehow, but
right. But there is no reason unless you're having massive problems, like you're casting or sizing your bullets way too small for the barrel, and now you're complaining about leading. Well, that's not the powder coat's fault. That's your fault. Now, you want to put extra lube on there to think that's going to fix it. That ain't going to fix it, but it may slow it down. But you need to fix the problem, not just come up with a solution to something that's not the problem.
Sitting here laughing at Willie Bullet Man's comment.
I lost the chat when I brought my camera back up. But yeah, Jamie was kind enough to let me borrow one of his molds, and I've been casting with it, and I'm done with it now. We got to work out how to get it back to him, whether I'm going out there or he's coming over here or who's going to be where when. It's no big deal. I know he knows it's in safe hands. But yeah, the only reason that you would use traditional bullet lube is if you're using a traditional bullet sizer lubricator. And Willie, that's where I was at with it. I wanted to traditionally lube for the joy of doing it the old way. I wanted to experience that because I've never done it, and I got like 50 sitting over here that are traditionally lubed, and I've got 50 that are powder coated, and I'm going to see what shoots better. I don't know that it would make a difference. I don't think that it will, but certain gunpowder is deteriorating. Well, actually, Dummy Round did a couple of videos on that, and he hadn't really seen a whole lot of problems. He just put certain bullets in certain powders in Tupperware and walk away for 3 weeks and pull them back out, and he didn't see a whole lot of issues.
Well, it was Biden's fault. I'm telling you.
That powder coating lasts for basically forever. Like if you powder coat a bullet and then throw it in a box somewhere, you could come back to it 50 years from now and load it up and go.
Well, These are back when I used red powder coat, which was about 5 years ago. And this is Harbor Freight powder coat. And I've got them in a marinara jar from Aldi's. They've been here a minute. Yeah, the powder coat doesn't go anywhere. It's just like your powder coated suspension parts and stuff like that. It's a coating that is there. It's not going anywhere.
So no different than you pull the bed off your truck and powder coat your frame rails and all that kind of stuff.
Exactly. It's so durable that it'll stay on the bullet while it's going down the barrel. That's how durable it is. It ain't going nowhere. There was a question of will this powder deteriorate the base of the powder coat, or will this powder deteriorate the base of the powder coat, or will this powder deteriorate the base of the powder coat and make it where it causes leading? And actually, Dummy Round did a really good couple of videos on that, and he didn't see anything. He left them there submersed in the whole bullet, submersed in powder for what was it, a month and a half or something? I mean, he did it for a long time and never saw any problems at all.
Walter Bunning's doing the same thing.
Yeah, some of the older powders, you may have a problem, but the ones that they've revamped the formulas that they've revamped in the last 20, maybe 30 years, I don't think you're going to see a problem at all.
Okay.
Powder coats. A lot of things are powder coats.
Get a shelf. No, I was just using all three of them. I've got a safe for them. I'm just not going to the basement.
All right, let me go through this side chat right quick, and then we'll AR's up next. Okay, we got SM Sergeant Bulldog, Willie Bulletman, James Vestige, Fuzz T4K, Hobbies Hobo, the Crazy Scotsman is in the room. Paul Loud, what's up, buddy? Kingpin is in the room joining us tonight. Mike Hester, K24, GGW Reloader 762, Bald and Curious. What's up, Val? How you doing, buddy? Kyle Lusk is in the room. James Pollard. He brought up a good point too. AR, you might want to cover this when you start talking in a minute. Multiple grooves for higher velocities in rifle. G. Pishner, Coach Brothers Firearms. What's happening, Walter? Let's see. Repeating. Broke Loader, what's going on, my man? Paul Loud again. Mr. Pollard.
Sorry.
Sergeant Bulldog again. Fuzz. Rebel. 67 Rebel SSD AMC. William Ganley, Andre D'Angelo, West Covina Dodge, Tim S. Welcome in. Daniel, God is my judge. He's been gone for a minute. So, yeah. Thanks for being there, Tim. So we're back up to 36. We had over 40 at one point, and then we dropped down in the 20s. There's Cranky Cletus. We can start now. So go ahead, AR.
Oh, I was just going to say a lot of things are powder coated, not just in automotive, but some guys may know this. Your inline fabrication plates are powder coated.
Mm-hmm.
Look, yeah, you can buy the equipment. I think Andy's E28 has a powder coating thing, if I'm not mistaken, on his channel.
Yeah, he has the gun.
Yeah, right. That's what I was thinking.
The thing about powder coating is it's not considered properly coated unless you can take a hammer to it and it not come off. You know, I mean that's pretty much the industry standard.
So how do you keep it from peeling off? Like when you shake it up, I get it. You shake it and shake it and shake it, and it'll eventually stick to all the surfaces on the projectile. But when you bake them, there's one side that's touching something, whether it be a grate, whether it be a flat rack, something like that. How do you keep that from sticking to the rack?
And that, sir, is why I stand all mine up on the back.
So
It
you can stand them up, Kingpin, and the way to do it is you can either wear a glove or don't wear a glove. It's up to you whether you're comfortable getting the crap on your hands or not. Basically, you dip your fingers in the powder coat and have it on your fingers, and pick each bullet up and rub it as you put it into the tray that you're going to put in the oven. That way, there's no spaces, there's no marks on it whatsoever. It's all coated.
Now, it depends. Do you want the coating or do you want the color? Because, all right, here you go.
While he's doing that, James, you're a smart man. Go have a good time, buddy.
All right. Do you want the color or the coating? See that little mark?
Yeah, there's a couple of them. Yeah.
That's where it was on the basket. Now, if you were here looking at this bullet, there's still a clear film over it. That's why I say, do you want the color or do you want the coating? It's still got the enamel coating on the bullet.
Well, obviously, the coating's the most important.
Yes, the color didn't stick because it was sitting up against something else, which all you stand-up people, once y'all understand that, y'all will quit doing that. Let's see what I got over here.
That's something I got to get into is casting.
I stand mine up. I ain't gonna work that hard and come to powder coating and then have bullets that look like those white ones Kyle showed.
Well, that was the white powder coat. That's what I was gonna say. This is a green bullet done in a basket, touching every other bullet or the basket. Don't know where it was located, but it's totally coated. Some powders cover better than others. There's the base. There's the tip. Just the tip.
Yeah, you got lucky with that one, buddy.
No, the Eastwood lime green lime green. That's a great coating powder. Just like the light violet, the Ford dark blue, the hunter green, the I call it macaroni and cheese. I can't remember what they call it. It's like the white. It's hit and miss, but it still got the enamel coating on it. You just sometimes the colors don't stay there. But yeah, I love that neon green. I
like it too.
plenty of bullets that are that color.
Yeah, that's a good color. And of course the Eastwood dark blue, light blue, your darker stuff, they tend to work really good. The green works good too. Not as good as the blue, but works good. Where you tend to have problems is with the white and yellow.
It's getting the color to stay where it was when you started cooking it. The colors tend to, and I've tried several different whites. I found one where if you do 2 coats, it works great. And of course, Fortune Cookie put a video out because I made a comment on one of his videos. This was years ago. I said, I found it. It takes 2 coats. And so what was his video? We're looking for a 1-coat white, and we're going to try this one, which is the one that I told him to try. See, it's just not giving us the results that I wanted because I told you to do it twice. Anyway.
So would you say a powder coat if you're gonna cast for long term storage, it's better off to powder coat them than just to leave them cast lead?
I don't see where it would matter at that point. I mean,
Yeah.
I've got jars of all kinds of bullets down in the basement and some around here that have yet to be powder coated that have been sitting here for 6 months, 8 months. It ain't gonna hurt anything.
Lead can be stored for decades.
Yeah, don't put it underwater and leave it there. You know, that wouldn't be good.
And don't let anything that lubricates anything touch it, because then the powder coat ain't gonna stick to it when you get around to doing that. But yeah, there's one more subject I want to talk about tonight. We're running out of time, and it's been an active chat. I feel like this has been one of our better ones. There's not been any
It's been
been hopping. Let me see if I can do this. I watched a couple of scoot videos, and we got a couple of new firearms that are being released soon, if not already. So I wanted to show y'all this one if I can. This is the Palmetto State Armory dagger, the 9 dagger, and can y'all see that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's a pretty good looking pistol, and I'm sure Scotsman has his opinions. I think it's a pretty good looking gun. It started life as a Glock 19 clone, but they've done so much to it at Palmetto State Armory. You can look at it and tell it don't look like no Glock 19 anymore.
It still looks like a Glock, and it's still gonna be a POS.
What's the MSRP on it?
$299.
I don't know if I'd trust my life to that, but
I'll say this: they got the price better than Glock, but it still looks like a Glock, and it's still probably going to be a POS.
Well, you know, it may be worth $300 for me to do a review on it.
Do it.
Give me $300.
Let's
You've got my address. Send me one, and I'll do a review on it. If I like it, I'll keep it and give you $300 back.
It's stainless steel slide, black nitrided. The trigger here, if y'all can see that trigger, that's a Smith & Wesson trigger.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like a M&P trigger. I was looking at that.
Yeah.
And, the serrations are not. The grip is definitely not Glock.
Yeah, it ain't got the same cant to it.
And they've got one that they're going to be coming out with soon that has the exact same grip angle as the 1911.
Now that I could get on board with.
Yeah, I would like that.
I'm a 1911 junkie. That's what I should have made my YouTube channel name.
I don't like the Glock angle, but that's just me.
Cranky. No. No, bad. No.
Oh, Lord. Good to see you, Cranky. Glad you could make it.
Yeah, it's always great to have Cranky there. K24, it's under 6 pounds, but
God, I would hope so. Jesus.
well, it's not the greatest trigger from what I've been hearing about it so far.
Oh, I thought you meant the total weight of the pistol. I would hope so. I'm sorry, I missed the side chat right there.
I can't get down with anything that's got the letters PSA on it.
lead being around is not dangerous.
I've never had a whole lot of problems out of them, and when I did have a problem, they were real quick to correct it.
So I'm still not decided. I thought that $300 it might be worth checking into, but Taurus came out with a new pistol earlier this week as well. So
I'll tell you what, Jamie, order one up. When we get together this weekend, I'll give you my $175 or whatever my half would be. We'll take it. We'll both shoot it, and whoever likes it can pay the other one the remaining balance. That's about as fair as I can think we can do it.
Well, that's a great idea if they were in stock and you could buy them.
Oh,
Yeah, it's like that.
K24, I don't have to forgive you because that's just perfect.
shut up. I'm not a Glock guy. I own a couple of them, and once I figured out what was wrong with them using too much frog lube, they function perfection. That was for you, Scotsman. What are you barking at so bad?
I like them
Man,
people I know.
There ain't much out there that is a CZ, man. I'm just saying.
I held one a few months last year. I couldn't believe it. I thought, wow, this is some gun.
I've shot one of the Scotsmans, and I was really impressed with it. I was like, man, it's a good shooting pistol. Then, of course, I grabbed my Glock, and it locked up because there was too much lube in the firing pin.
He shot my CZ75 first, and he says, "I like that." Then he shot Scotsman's Shadow Z, and it was like,
Yeah,
I love that.
it was the Shadow. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, it was a Shadow. I'm like, so what are the chances of you leaving Georgia with this? He goes, pretty good. Or actually, he said 100%. You ain't getting my pistol.
I checked them out a while back. I was surprised how good they were. Said, wow.
That was a fun weekend. We got to get together and do that again. If we can't go to Dead Zero, we can do it up here in North Georgia. Hooah!
Rebel, I have no clue what a staccato P is.
Yeah, me either.
Isn't that a knife?
I know staccato from music. It's the short, choppy note.
I was about to say, you got to be short and quick with it.
So, yeah, that's what I was wanting to talk about is the dummy round thing and the new PSA. So, Kingpin, what do you have against PSA, my brother?
My personal experience, and then experience that people that I'm friends with have had, has been pretty much dreadful. The last friend, Guns and Barbecue, buys a lot of stuff, and he played the tapes and everything, so it's not like he was making it up. They treated him horribly. So that's another reason I won't mess with him. But me, I've tried to buy stuff from there on the internet, and I don't like spending money on the internet. I definitely don't like buying anything on the internet or on credit cards or anything. So I tend to avoid that. But I wanted to build an AR, so I started looking for parts. And there is no customer service line. Like, I couldn't call up and ask anybody a question about anything. And that's a big no-no for me. And then nothing was ever in stock. So finally, when I did go in there, give them another shot, I go on, I fill up my shopping cart with everything, and I'll just make up numbers because I don't remember what they are now. If my total number for the lower was $50, and then the handguard was $20, when I put it in my cart, they were like double the price. So then once again, nobody would answer any questions. I emailed them a whole bunch of times and asked them if they could help me. So it's just been a really dreadful thing. And some of their stuff is kind of crappy too. Like that gun doesn't look all that great, just personally to me. But I've had really bad customer service issues, I guess you could say, with Palmetto State.
Customer service is everything, man. If you're not getting customer service, then it's automatically going to turn you off, no matter what. Doesn't matter what the company is.
Yeah, if you go back to, some of you guys are familiar with Guns and Barbecue, but if you go back earlier into his channel, I think it was during the winter. He was buying, lower parts kits and uppers and, putting up a whole bunch of ARs together. And he bought from a third party vendor. Like he went to a gun store and bought some Palmetto State stuff. And apparently Palmetto State talks about how they'll guarantee anything and no matter what, blah, blah. The way they treated him was disgusting. I encourage you to go back and watch those videos and judge for yourself.
I've only had one issue with any of their products, and it was mailed to me, and in shipping, it was a bolt carrier group, and it wasn't assembled when I got it. It was just all the pieces, and where the gas tube goes was bent due to UPS playing soccer with the packages, I guess. And I emailed them up, and they said, attach a picture. I attached a picture of the unopened bag. And because I saw it as soon as I took it out of the box. We'll send you another one. You just go ahead and keep that one in case you need some extra parts. So they sent me a whole nother bolt carrier group. That's the only problem I've ever had with them. And I bought a bunch of stuff from them. So I don't know. I guess it's different for everybody.
Yeah, and I don't discourage anybody. If you choose to shop at PSA and you've had nothing but great experience, fantastic. I'm really happy for you. It's just not something I'm going to do.
And I totally respect that view as well.
Yeah, Wes Covina brought it up. I was trying to build an AR-10 and none of their stuff matched. I can't remember. I don't have the lower anymore, but whatever that lower was, I was thinking the what did they call them? The DPMS? Is that what it was? I don't remember. But anyway, they weren't trying to help me figure out which upper I could get to fit. They basically just wanted me to buy a PSA lower, and I didn't need one. I already had one.
That's common with DPMS, different manufacturers, unfortunately.
I've heard that in addition to the buffer tubes, the certain manufacturers have mil spec uppers and generic uppers, and you have to get not mil spec, which I know mil spec ain't the best, but it's still the same dimensions, But I have heard that certain manufacturers are that way.
You need to stick with the same manufacturer when you build a DPMS AR-10.
I've heard that a lot on AR-10s. That if you start right here, you need to go right here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I found that out the hard way. I just wanted something that was there at the local gun store. I was like, I'll take it. And before I realized what I was doing with it, I had already put the lower together and enjoyed doing that. So that was really fun. But I didn't think about the whole project when I got started. So.
Yeah, but when you're doing something like that, you want to save money everywhere you can. And there's just some things that's buy once, cry once. So
I'm working on an Aero build DPMS.
And actually, I I built an AR-15 with the cheapest stuff that I could find, but it still be quality, like chrome line barrel, chrome line bolt carrier group, that kind of stuff. I ended up having, with shipping, less than $400 in the rifle. Of course, I had to assemble everything myself. But that's been one of the funnest shooting rifles I've ever had. I'll grab it before I grab my Daniel Defense. It's just fun to shoot.
There you go. There's a staccato P.
Jamie, I think if they had them in stock, I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind going that route if you wanted to, because I mean, hell, you live closer to me than anybody else. So, and if you didn't like it, I'd buy it, and if I didn't like it, you'd buy it. Or if we both didn't like it, we'd sling it at somebody. Hell, I don't know.
If that's the staccato P right there, and it's a $200 gun, when you guys don't like it, sell it to me. Because just on the picture, the one you just showed, Jamie, is better than the PSA one.
Yeah, I don't think that's a $200 gun. I would guess more like 2,000.
Yeah,
I thought so.
not. It's not.
If you guys don't like it, send it to me. I'll do some testing on it, just like I did prior with the Glock, and we'll have some fun with it, you know. And then we can mail the parts and pieces out to Cranky or to Willie or whoever wants them.
Or we can just have a pool party at my house because the pool's warming up and it is perfect. Come on down, Mr. Scotsman. Oh, good God. Hang on.
I'm not going away, but I'm going to get into ham radio. Probably next channel eventually.
That looked nice, man. I ain't kidding you, bro. That looked really good.
Yeah, it did look nice.
2,100. Yeah. I got pretty close on that guess, didn't I? Yeah, there you go. All right, guys. So it's getting about time to wrap this dog and pony show up and let these nice people get on along with their weekend and their lives. And I got to get to bed because I got to ride early in the morning. So hopefully that'll go well. Kingpin, AR, y'all are welcome back anytime. We'll start going around and seeing what y'all got coming up. Kingpin, you working on anything in particular?
No, man, not specifically. Just thank you for having me. It's definitely an honor to be on the panel with you guys. Thank you, everybody in the chat, for always answering my questions and being so cool to me. So I just appreciate all y'all, and thank you for having me.
Well, Kingpin, brother, we appreciate you being here, and we really appreciate the questions that you have and the insight. It really adds a lot. Look, there's my brother.
Chico.
What's going on, Chico, my brother? Thank you so much for showing up, Chico. We appreciate it, man. We miss you. So anyway, thanks, K24. I appreciate it. Basically, we're riding to a barbecue joint. What can I say? You know, I'm on a diet, so yeah. We're gonna get to that, Bulldog. AR, thank you for being here, man.
Thank you for having me.
We appreciate you showing up. Hopefully, we'll see you again soon.
Yeah, it's good being here, man. I enjoyed it.
Any videos you got coming up?
No, I might do one. I'm gonna do some 9mm this weekend. I got some hollow points, XTPs. 200 of them here, so I may do some of those. I might do a video on it. But I appreciate you inviting me too.
Well, we're glad to have you, and you're a Georgia boy, so come on back any old time.
Yeah, appreciate it. Yeah, I'd love to.
Scotsman, you gotta get ready for work, my brother.
No, I'm off tonight. They're working on the presses. They're changing out a whole bunch of stuff. So I fortunately get the weekend off. So don't have a whole lot coming up this weekend. Obviously with the chat Sunday. And then this week there'll be a couple of videos you're gonna want to see. So make sure you jump over and check those out. But really, I just wanted to say thank you to everyone out there. It was a great chat, great side chat. You guys rocked it out once again. Thank you to Kingpin for showing up and asking questions, man. It's always good to have someone on who is looking to get into it and has the beginner questions, has those types of things that a lot of us thought about when we started, but we don't think about it now. So it's good to have that mix in the chat. So anyone that's out there in the side chat, if you're thinking about getting into reloading and you're not in there yet, and kind of like Kingpin, ask those questions, man. Ask those questions. We're here to answer questions. With that being said, dude, I appreciate it very much. Always good to see you, brother. Always good to be here, and thank you.
Well, thanks for being here. And I want to say not just about Kingpin, not just does he have beginning reloading question that keeps the chat moving. He's got he's very accomplished at these newer firearms that I'm not well versed in. So I appreciate his level of expertise on that as well. So what you got coming up, Kyle?
First of all, I just want to say thanks, Kingpin and AR, for being here. It was great. Nice to be on the chat with y'all. And the questions were killer. I love it. It made it really fun. We had a great chat tonight. I thank both of y'all for being here. And of course, Scotsman, thank you. And everybody in the live chat that is still here. I enjoy cutting up with you guys. I'm sorry my dog went a little crazy there a little ago, and Jamie had to mute me. I was in the process of doing it, and I was about to click the button because I was out in the backyard when it happened. But as far as anything coming up, I got to go to work tomorrow and load up a bunch of tools and bring them to the house because I sold my toolboxes. But, so I got a little bit of work to do tomorrow, and that'll be great on the back. As far as reloading, I'm doing my best I can to fill every 50 cal ammo can I got with shotgun slugs and double alt buckshot. Other than that, frogs are back. That's all I got.
Well, I'll say this much about Baloo working. I was glad it was her and not one of mine. Just to be honest. So, guys, thank y'all for being here. We want to thank our guest especially. So y'all come back next week. We'll do it over again, and hopefully somebody you know will be on here. So hopefully these guys will come back sometime and see us, and we appreciate them. We really appreciate you. Check us out on send us an email at georgiashootingconnection@gmail.com. Check out Uncle Jim tomorrow night. Check out the Crazy Scotsman on Foreign and Domestic on Sunday nights on his channel. Alan B. Pro is he's got that radio voice. Y'all like it. So check all that out. You can find most of us on Discord on the Realtors Network. We hope God blesses y'all all real good. Lord willing, we'll see y'all next week. Same time, same channel. Good night.